All right. Peace, peace, greetings, and welcome to this special edition, special report brought to you by New Day Resurrection and Liberation. Of course, I have with me the host and founder and architect of the Million Women March and Universal Movements, and of course uh, originator of the New Day Resurrection and Liberation podcast, Empress Shape.
All right, all right. Well, today is a very, very interesting day. And with that said, do I have share access?
Yeah, you should yeah, because we updated
Oh,
the link. Yeah, you should have the screen share.
okay, okay. Um, all right, let's try. Let's see.
It's at the
Um,
you gotta hit that screen. There's like it's the microphone, the camera, and then the screen plus.
oh goodness. So I hit the screen. I hit share.
You say you did what?
Okay, so this doesn't come up. You can't really tell what this is. So let me see.
Because let me say at the bottom, greetings, brother Lefty. All right, thank you for joining us this evening for this special report. Okay, all right, I got
Oh,
it at the stage. Boom. All right, there it is.
okay, well, that wasn't the one I wanted, but
Yeah, go to well, yeah, yeah, but you got the screen now, so whatever go to the right tab that you want. You can hit stop share on that one and go
okay.
to
Yeah, nothing. I don't see any. There's no menu coming up for me here. I'm
hmm.
just looking at the screen. There's no. I don't see any
Oh wow.
menu. There's nothing.
Okay. Well, if you wanted to for me I see it says UN calls African slave trade the
Yeah,
greatest.
it's there, but I'm saying I no longer have access to anything.
Oh, to you can go back over to because yeah, you have to go back over to your tab for StreamYard, and that
Right.
this tab will still be showing as the shared screen.
Okay, but what I'm saying is there's nothing. There's no tabs. There's nothing. All I have is what's on the screen, but there's no menu, no nothing showing.
I'm saying like
Anyway,
are you on the computer?
yep.
Yeah, so I'm saying you have it on full screen because you probably need to come out of full screen so you can see your other tabs.
I don't see anything. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through this right here.
Okay.
Okay, so as you can see, the UN calls the African slave trade the gravest crime against humanity. So, so they not only declared it a crime against humanity, they went as far as to say it's the gravest crime against humanity. Now this is groundbreaking, family. This just happened today, which is why we're bringing you this special report because this is very, very important for many, many reasons. And we're going to kind of review a little bit of that in a few moments. And then, of course, tomorrow and Saturday for New Day. Tomorrow, of course, we're doing a community event in the community. We're going to also be online as we are now and on Facebook, but we'll literally be in Philly at 31 North 60th Street starting at 6:30 because our position is to be in our communities to make certain that the masses of our people now are better aware of what's being talked about and the actions that are now being implemented as it pertains to reparation slash repair. So what we've learned is that a lot of times we're talking to each other, meaning folks that are already involved, folks that already have some comprehension of reparations, but the masses of our people don't know what the heck we're talking about. So we've taken the position with the We Charge Genocide 21 that we will be going into our communities again because we never stop, but we're really going full force now. And with that, bringing information, history about reparations, the different kinds of positions, and certainly what our role is with the We Charge Genocide 21, given the fact that this is the 75th year commemoration of Paul Robeson and William Patterson taking the petition to the United Nations in 1951. Now, there were a couple of other petitions, but this is the one that we cite as well as what Mother Moore did in 58. So we'll go over that tomorrow and in the very near future. Now, going back to today's flash line, hotline, or hot news rather. So, as you can see, the UN approved a resolution to call the transatlantic slave trade the gravest crime against humanity and advocate for reparations. They did it today, March the 25th. Now, many don't know because most won't teach this, and we certainly have been for at least 5 years. Today is the International Day for the Remembrance of Slavery and the transatlantic slave trade. Now, this is something that the United Nations has put in place for several years now. But again, the masses of our people don't know anything about this. So I'm going to read a little further, a little more. So the UN voted today, as it said. I covered that already. The vote, which was led by John Durnam Wahana, who is the president of the Republic of Ghana, took place on the International Day of Remembrance of the Victims of Slavery and the Transatlantic Slave Trade. In the end, 123 countries voted in favor of the resolution, while the US, Argentina, and of course Israel voted against it. 52 countries, including the UK and all 27 European Union members, abstained from the vote. So, there you have it. So, I wonder why the European countries abstained. I wonder why.
Mm,
I wonder
I
why.
know.
And the UK, England. But nevertheless, it didn't matter because uh, over 120 did vote, and so it went through. So now, groundbreaking family. We're going to go to some other commentaries and thoughts about it. So, with that said, let's see. The resolution said the African slave trade was the gravest crime against humanity because of the definitive break in world history, scale, duration, systemic nature, brutality, and enduring consequences that continue to structure the lives of all people through racialized regimes of labor, property, and capital. Wow. Here we are. So, again, last sentence, the resolution is intended to affirm the importance of justice, human rights, and dignity, as well as emphasizing that claims for reparations represent a concrete step towards remedy. Oh my goodness. Now, again, this is why it's so important that at least from what we've been advocating, that our people focus on making certain that we deal with the historical perspective, of course, the historical perspective of the whole situation, but the folks who really put the work in, the research in, when it came to fighting for reparations. And again, we're talking about Queen Mother Moore in particular. And so these folks today, that don't realize that if it wasn't for her and a few others, we wouldn't even be having this conversation, more than likely. So it's
Right.
really a disservice. So I'm going to come out of here. Hopefully, I don't get cut off, but if I do, I'll come right back.
Okay.
Hold on.
All right. Yep. There you go.
Okay. I'm not sure even how that happened, but okay. So going back again to this whole idea, I was trying to find I had a video that I was trying. Oh, I think I got it. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Check this out.
You got to do the share screen thing and all that again, unless you want to send it to me.
You don't see the share screen?
No, you're not sharing screen yet.
Oh, shucks. Okay. Um,
If you want, you can email it to me real quick though, and then I can
oh,
play it.
hold on. Hold on.
But yeah, family, breaking news. We got brother Lefty on. Oh, okay. You just put it in the chat. I see it. I got it. No, is
It,
that no? That's old. No, that's
no,
old. Never.
no, somehow I just lost it. Oh,
Wow.
shucks.
We got
Okay.
brother Lefty in the building too. Thanks for joining us, brother Lefty. What's your thoughts on this new development?
Peace. It's about time. Long
Long
time
time
coming. But
overdue.
I only when I see some traction, maybe I'll believe it more because there's
Mm-hmm.
always surface symbolism stuff.
Well,
Um,
this
with
is
with with the other with the was it 123 sustained? What she say?
so there
No,
was
it's 50. It was 56, I think. Sustained, abstained.
60,
abstain.
yeah, 66 abstained. So you gotta ask questions like, well, like Empress said, what
Why
why
they
did they do that? We need some information from those areas and some information on that. See, I my thing is with these news things, if we don't have our own correspondences with international correspondences with people that
well
are
we
on
actually
the
do.
ground
Yeah.
there.
We,
Well, I'm just
well
saying. Well, I
yeah.
don't. Okay,
Okay, yeah, we
so
know, we do, we
when
do.
I do, I'm just gonna say for me. So
Hmm.
when I hear different news things like that, it behooves me to like question it and all right, well, what is that the real story? You always gotta question the story that they give you. You know what I'm saying? Because the story that you find is the better story. So you once they alert you to a certain thing that's happening, just do your own research and um, be studious with the information that you receive. Because and if you do it um, on a constant basis, you be more consistent with it. It becomes easier. You'll have better habits going forward. And then if we all do that and we actually learn some things and correspond and talk to each other and have interactions, then you can we can talk about it and try to do something locally for each individual. Like my politics is local. You always got to start from where your neighborhood and move it out. So
Yeah, yeah, dig. Appreciate that addition, brother Lefty. So yeah, we definitely we hit it from all angles. We holistic over here. New Day Resurrection Liberation. We this broadcast has been in existence. What is this? The 18th year, 17th year?
19, 19.
19th year. You know what I'm saying? So as
Yep.
far as consistency, we've been on that. Definitely hit folks with the local, with the national, and with the international. So you know what I mean? We stay consistent with that. And again, having that holistic approach as far as having folks on the ground in certain international arenas in certain areas. We've built those relationships as well. So this is why it's great. And I would advise people to continue to tap in and tune in with New Day Resurrection and Liberation. You know what I'm saying? And also share the information. Of course, your advice on doing your due diligence as far as pertains to fact check and so on and so forth. Definitely, that's of the utmost of importance. But you know what I'm saying. I haven't seen many. First of all, this is an independent black media outlet. You know what I'm saying. So we do the fact checking over here as well. But of course, come back behind us, fact check our fact checking. You know what I'm saying? And I think that type of those type of principles and that type of diligence, just helps to keep oneself better informed and understanding the processes or the different components of media, right? And how to decipher, and tease out the actual truths. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but I definitely would, selfless promotion. I would advise people to tap in and tune in with New Day Resurrection Liberation.
Of course.
Here's the other thing, Brother Lefty. I don't know if you received the email, but we'll actually be in the community tomorrow. We'll be at 31 North 60th Street. So we will be there at 6:30. And so, now that the weather's
6:30
breaking,
p.m.
say it again.
6:30 p.m. until when?
Yeah,
Uh,
tomorrow.
6:30 to 8.
To 8?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So we'll be doing, again, a teach-in for We Charge Genocide. And also we're going to do what we call a pre-plebiscite session, so that our people can begin to know more about human rights, plebiscite, and things of those natures. So yeah, we're totally committed to making certain that we're in our communities. In fact, we're the only group that I know in Philly that is consistent in terms of, we do stuff almost every month in the community. Or at least we were, when the weather would permit, right?
Yeah, well, weather's changing now, so it's
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
easy.
oh yeah, we definitely good to go now.
Yeah, we gearing up.
Brother, I cannot find, for some reason, again, I can't find the menu to get to really operate the StreamYard. So I'm sending you the clip that
Right.
I wanted to share.
Right.
So give me 1 minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now this is the actual session, I believe, that happened at the UN today. And keep in mind, family, we're not suggesting that the UN is all of that. That's not what we're saying, right?
Hmm.
We're
Hmm.
not putting all our eggs in that basket.
Right.
But
Right.
this is a step that enables folks to maneuver. It's
Right.
a
Right.
very strategic kind of thing. And if you understand the nature of the game. And if you
Right.
don't, then that's another problem. But if you kind of know how some of this stuff works, then you got to see where this is definitely an advantage. Brother Lefty, I don't know if you're aware that today is the International Day for the so-called victims of slavery and the transatlantic slave trade. This is a day that was declared
The
by the United Nations,
25th?
right?
Yep.
And yep, today. Well, it's not
No, I
12
didn't
o'clock
know
yet.
that.
Yeah.
Today,
Today. Yeah. Hmm. Yep.
March 25th. And see, we've been recognizing it at least for the past 5 years. We would do something every year, once again, for the past 5 years to help people to be able to grow and develop. And, again, for whatever reason, a lot of our, so-called leaders or whatever do not help our people to know about these things. Now, we'll be doing something in August that is also in reference to the international day, and I'll tell you more about that in a few moments. And that too is connected to the United Nations. But the other thing we'll be talking about tomorrow is this is the second phase for the International Decade for African People. And again, most of our people don't know anything about that. Okay, Brother Mumba, did you get the link
Okay. Let me see.
to your email?
Email. Okay. Let me check my email. All right. Let's check that now. Let's check that now. Okay. All right, family. So once again, breaking news. It has been declared today on the Awareness Day of the recognition of the transatlantic slave trade and of slavery. It has been declared today by the UN that the transatlantic slave trade is indeed does indeed meet the parameters to be uh, uh, acknowledged as a
Of course.
violation of human rights. You know what I'm
That
saying?
we that stuff, like, that's what I'm saying. That's this what upsets me, because we have mountains of evidence, and we have proof of fact by other people getting reparations for stuff that didn't happen least worse than us, and for the same amount of time. We are a unique people. We have a
Mhm.
unique, you know what I'm saying, past, and that's why they want to act like that's the reason why they can't address it. But it can be addressed the same way y'all address everything in court, the same way y'all address traffic, the way y'all address everything. They can make it happen. They just don't want it for us. And until we really wrap that around our head that what we want is not going to be given to us. I don't, because even if they do all this, I still don't believe they're gonna hold on to whatever. They're not gonna give us anything. That's their last thing. They will blow everything up before they give everything before they give us what we deserve. Because
Well, you know,
what we deserve is too much. There is no you have to give us 3/4 of this land in order to pay us back, and that's just the lease. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna do that. We have to figure out other ways of trying to make things happen for ourselves.
so
So
I mean, one of the things of that is being strategic.
You
You know what I'm
understand?
saying?
Once,
Once,
well,
well,
let me,
let me come out the mic. Once we have certain information, it becomes ammunition, right? And we had to learn how to use that ammunition to, the best of our advantage. You know what I'm saying? We have further ammunition now, further recognition, and this also sets legal precedents, right? And so we now have other areas to maneuver from, and how we frame it, how we utilize it, so on and so forth. That's up to us. We had to be astute enough,
Right.
creative enough, innovative
You know
enough.
why? Because we have to
well,
have someone that's going to actually be part of the bar situation, which is still part of that system, to
no,
sue. You know what I'm
no,
saying?
no. That too, but here, if I may, let me just give some
Hmm.
clarity.
Hmm.
There's two things. The other entities that you mentioned, Brother Lefty, they are
Okay.
nations. What is complicated for us is we have never, I won't say never, we have not identified ourselves.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
in other words, the people that you're talking about, they received it as the people of a nation.
Right.
Of course, I know
So,
Right.
that.
So that's
so,
that's one of the
so,
main differences. Yeah, go ahead. Hmm.
right. So black, and so those countries filed on their behalf.
Right.
So now we're saying that the genocide is here. The crime against humanity is here. So
Hmm.
now who files in other words, they ain't gonna file for us. So your comparative analysis is not in the same scope.
No, because the everything you're saying is, who is us? When you
Right.
say they're
Right.
fine for us,
So,
we don't have a flag. We don't have a stand in the army. We don't have a constitution.
You wouldn't
That's
need
what they
that.
respect,
You
and that's
wouldn't
the
need
thing, that
that.
we're not a sovereign anything.
You wouldn't
So
need
we
that.
have to start there if you want to say
No,
anything about us, man.
no, you wouldn't need that. That's why
How?
oh,
tomorrow,
listen.
that's
You
why
will find out.
tomorrow we're going to have the session because this is why this is so important now. For example, when a human rights violation has been declared, those peoples have then they have international law rights. What you're talking about is based on nation rights as it pertains to the regular modes of operations. This is why when you declare a human rights violation, you then are able to go under a different jurisdiction. There's literally a court that deals with so-called crimes of violations of genocide.
Crimes against humanity, specifically.
So my point is, while in one arena, in order for you to be declared of a certain type, you would need an army or whatever. No. However, look at the term genocide. The definition. It makes reference to an entity, a people's, a group, specifically where harm is done to them.
Right, and the further on that, that's why it's important why we're talking about having the sessions as it pertains to the pre-plebiscite hearings, right? This is why this information is being presented and why it's so important because for folks to really put a lot of their petty bickering and differences to the side to come together so that we can declare ourselves, however we're going to formulate, whatever that name is for our people, all right, so we can push this further into whatever realms that we need to. But folks have to understand some of the fundamentals, some of the basics. You know what I mean? Civics 101 classes that we're having, and probably
Right.
sci 101 I should say, and civics classes, right? And be able to understand what a plebiscite even is, right? And why
Right.
it's
You right
important.
about that.
So that's what we're talking about. You know what I mean? That's what the session tomorrow is based on. So we hitting it from all angles. But to know the information that we're presenting tonight, it is part of the means, right? And so just cover it from all sides, from all aspects. So now we have a framework that we can work with and towards. Okay, now that this has been declared, one of the angles that we can be able to attack it from is by being able to further develop the plebiscite and the declarations of the nation that we're uh, uh, the umbrella aspect of things where we are declaring to be, and there's structures and organizational, statutes that have already been put in place that we can use, for example. So it's not, something that's far out or something that's, very difficult to do. We have examples such as the Republic of New Africa, right? Who
Mm-hmm.
has already established themselves as a governance and governing body. So, and that's just one example. Okay. So, it's not rocket science and it doesn't take a whole lot of people. And it does not also take, it takes a certain number of people and it doesn't also take a whole lot of time, right? Because again, we can use the structures that we already have in place historically, just copy and paste it for lack of a better term, and being able to push things forward. And that's just on one front.
So let me just give a quick definition of genocide. See, this is where, again, it's different in terms of how we can now further approach this. Genocide is the deliberate and systematic destruction of a group of people because of their ethnicity, nationality, religion, or race. The term derived from the Greek generos, which means trace, race, tribe, or nation, and the Latin side, meaning killing, was coined by Raphael Lindgren, Polish, whatever, and it was developed in World War II. Well, anyway, forget that part. The point that I'm making is the definition of genocide, which has been accepted by all countries and in international law. So note again, it's the deliberate and systematic destruction of a group of people because of their ethnicity, nationality, religion, or race.
Yeah, I think the question that was being asked though is how do we apply that if we don't know or who is who, what group,
Right.
what
Yeah, because
people.
I got that. My definition of genocide is an international crime involving acts causing serious physical, or mental harm with the intent to destroy partially or entirely a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I got the
That's
same
it.
stuff here.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I
Right.
just said. Yeah.
I know,
So
that's what I'm
now
saying.
you
I said,
take that a step further because that was all validated in 1948, right, with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This is when the countries signed on to an agreement of a basic fundamental understanding of what crimes against humanity is. And in international law, that is genocide. Genocide is defined as you said it, but in a more sophisticated manner, it's crimes against humanity also. So
Right.
now,
And then, yeah, the question would be, again, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, how do we then apply that as a people
right,
when there's fractionalization of
right,
people not knowing who we are, where we come
oh,
from,
okay, okay, I
right?
correct,
got
That's the
right.
question.
So
correct.
you were so then going back to what Brother Mooma just said, Brother Lefty, this is why we're holding pre-plebiscite sessions because once the group identifies who they want to be called, what they want to be called, in other words, after subjugation, you have the right to determine what you now want to be called, how you wish to be governed, and so forth. We've never had that process. And so, by international law, by rights, we have the right to do that. Once that's done, we can establish the name that we want to now engage in. Even if we don't want to keep that name for the whole, for forever, we have to start with at least voting for those who are interested. See, again, our position is we're not trying to tell anybody that this is what they should do. I mean, it would be good if they do, but if they this if one feels inclined or feel that this is for them, then so be it. So we're presenting the position, we're presenting the plan of action. The plan of action is to do these pre-plebiscite sessions to let people know what is a plebiscite, how can it work, how can it help us. Then, after X amount of time, we don't know how much time it's going to be, it will be a national vote for that citizenry, because we're first establishing the society. The next step is to become a recognized entity in such a way that we are able to create what is known as a provisional government. And again, that's all about having the pre-plebiscite sessions and then having um, a plebiscite. And even in the completing of a society, that still gives us rights. How do we know that? Look at Philadelphia. Philadelphia is called the Quaker City. Why is it called the Quaker City? Because of the Society of Friends. You see, they were a religious order that claimed that said to be prosecuted or persecuted by England. So here you have a group based on religion that said they were violated. So once that's you can do that and it's proven, you then have other rights. And it's obvious right here in
You know what I
Philadelphia.
say? Just my issue is just is been proven 1,000 times over already.
Say it again.
It's been proven 1,000 times over already.
What's been voted?
No,
I
it's
said
been
it's been
proven,
proven. It's been
proven a
proven a
thousand
thousand
times.
times.
Okay,
Like
but
like we
proven
our evidence is in so many
that's
books and
right. Okay,
researched
but what's
and
the
talked
processes? In
about.
other words, it's proven, but if something is proven and you don't go through the process of what that entails, then what does that mean? If you have proof that someone did something to you, right? If you don't follow through on the filings or the whatever it is, then how are you going to get compensated?
And so
My
this
thing
this
is,
yeah, go ahead.
my thing is with this is just that it's 2026, and whatever we're trying to get for past things is still happening today in real time. So do we pause what's happening to us in real time, or do we? Like this is a big endeavor to just because we're talking about they're talking about we have to do our research and what they defining what um what who like us, if you want to say that, to use your words, who are they talking about in their paperwork, as far as when they say whatever they said, uh blacks or whatever they called us in the
No,
paperwork.
no, 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 no. That's not how that go, brother. And what I'm saying to you is, once we have the right to call ourselves what we want.
I'm
We
not
can
worrying about
prove.
what we
We can.
call ourselves.
No, no, I'm saying again, we're dealing with courts.
Yeah, that part is
So,
important.
so if we're going to get relief, and again, you cannot just get relief from the entity that did you harm. You have to process that in a higher court. It's just like on this level. If you do something in civil court, or if you do something on a common pleas court,
Mm,
you have the, if something goes wrong or whatever that you don't like, you have the right to appeal it to a higher court. If that court agrees with your position, it can nullify the first decision. So
Right.
this is how some of this other stuff is structured. So
So with
we're
that,
not really looking for the US per se to do A, B, N, or C. I mean, if they do, that's fine, but that's not the end game.
right. So this would be taken to international court, right?
Right.
And it will be tried in those courts. And so, these are just some of the pieces that need to be put together. And to address, the issue of the things that still happening currently, these things are being documented, right? And there's people that's been doing this work for decades now, so we don't have to start today. A
Right.
lot of the work has
Exactly.
already been done, right? We just have
I'm not,
Exactly.
to be able
And,
to get with those entities, you know what I'm saying, create collaborative efforts and put these things together. A lot of the work has already been done for us. A lot of our ancestors has already done this labor, shed this blood, sweat, and tears in order to bring us to this point. So we have to bring the thing on home. You know what I'm saying?
and,
Simultaneously, while
and
we're
let me just add this
simultaneously,
stuff,
let
remember.
me close out real quick. So simultaneously, while we're doing all the other things that need to be done, right? Yeah, go ahead, Sister Empress.
So here's where it gets real interesting. Brother Malcolm addressed the United Nations in 1965. He also met with representatives of the African Union, Egypt, Ghana, Nigeria were three. He literally met with the presidents or the prime ministers of those countries. And in doing so, was requesting for their support on our position in terms of human rights violation. Now, this is 1965. So now, what entity is it that went to United Nations to request that this resolution be adopted? It was the African Union. So it's already on record now that Malcolm X went to the African Union to talk with representatives on our behalf. This on record.
So
So
again, bringing those things together, pulling together those coalitions of the different organizations who are already doing this work, being able to use some of these historic precedences to further argue our case, pull all of these elements together. The precedence has already been set and laid. So all we have to do once again is continue the work. It's gotten us this far. You know what I'm saying? The African Union came in and gave us an alley oop to take us even further. So now the question is, those people who are in this work, how do we coalesce and come together to bring it over the line and bring it past the finish line? And
And
part of that is some of the things that we're talking about with the pre-plebiscite hearings, holding the plebiscites, and again getting with those of like minds, of like spirits, and who want to see this thing move forward. Being able to collaborate and partner with those individuals, groups, entities, and institutions, so that we can make sure we get this thing done expeditiously.
yeah, it's
You're
really,
right.
some of the stuff is already done. And it's unfortunate that more of our people don't know, and that's what we're really helping folks to kind of know some of the things that have already happened. It's already there, and this has been part of the problem. Folks have been starting from a place that they really didn't have to. And keep in mind, there's different positions, there's different strategies, there's different kind of objectives. So there's we tell people, select what is palatable or best for you. We're not saying we're the all in all. We just got a little piece of the puzzle, right? And Cobra and other groups, they do what they do. And so a person got to look to see which thing works best for them. Our position is one that focuses on self-determination and remedies based on human rights violation. That has always been our position, and it comes from a place that started really in the 1800s. But the more document of the recent time is, of course, Brother Malcolm, Queen Mother Moore, Baba Imari Obadeli, who was born and raised right here in Philadelphia, by the way, and who taught us what about plebiscite. You see, so we're just continuing the work, some of the work that they gave us, that they taught us. And this is why it's a little disturbing that you had people jumping in this whole thing on reparations, and yet they give little to no credit or reference to the people who did the initial research, who did the initial fighting. There's a sister that we know in recent time who she took the first step in suing the corporations. And with the We Charge Genocide, we are looking at also citing the so-called some of the religious institutions because they had ships. So it's not just the government. We're looking at some of the religious institutions too that were involved in enslavement.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, family. So that's just some of what is going on presently, some of the breaking reports and news, and some of the strategies, tactics, and techniques that we're looking at being able to utilize and implement in order to make sure that we are pushing forward and continuing in those mighty legacies of our ancestors, being able to take on some of those mantles and pick up those batons and run things across the finish line. All right, family. So we getting ready to close out. This was a
Did
special
you did,
edition
did
and
you find the
recording.
clip? Did
Oh,
you
the
find
clip.
the clip?
Okay, yeah. Let me play the clip real quick, and then we come back to you all for final thoughts and closing remarks, and then we can close out for this evening. All right, let me play this clip real quick. Give me 1 second. Let me get this clip. Here we go. Let's take a look. All right, here it is. Here.
Let's see.
United Nations General Assemblies voted to recognize the transatlantic slave trade as a crime against humanity. Tabled by Ghana, it also calls for reparations.
This resolution sends a very clear message that the international community would no longer tolerate impunity. that the international community stands for justice, that the international community and our multilateral system we have erected, no matter how long it takes, the day of reckoning will come. And so all of us as leaders should be mindful of our actions and our policies. That once we violate the rights of others, once we engage in impunity, in acts of injustice, the day of reckoning will come. To me, that is a very, very profound message that the UN is sending to the world today.
123 nations voted in favour of the resolution, 52 abstained, including Britain and the EU, while the US, Israel, and Argentina voted against it.
Right. There you
All
have
right.
it.
That's pretty damning. Only 3 nations voted against it. Wow.
Yep. Now,
Wow.
Brother Mumba, go back for a minute because that's only about 1 minute. The one next one coming up, that's only 1 minute. That's the actual chair. He's not called chairperson. He's called, there's another title, but he's the head of that division, right? And if you can play that.
Commemorate the
Yep.
victims of a staggering crime. Millions of people stolen from their families and communities in Africa, trafficked across the Atlantic, and if they survived the journey, enslaved in the Americas. Millions more were born into bondage, brutally exploited for their labor, and denied their basic humanity. We honor their quiet resilience and courageous acts of open resistance. This global order prevailed for over 400 years and haunts our world even now. In systems and institutions shaped and enriched by chattel slavery, in social and economic inequalities rooted in past injustices, and in biases that permeate our culture and impact us all. On this International Day of Remembrance of the victims of slavery and the transatlantic slave trade, we are called to confront these legacies. By rejecting the false narrative of racial difference and the ugly lie of white supremacy, by dismantling racism online, in
This
the
is real.
media, in schools, at work, in politics, and within our.
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely real. This is the
Oh yeah.
report. This is the report that was
Hey,
given.
this,
Right?
this is serious, y'all. This is
Right?
serious.
Who is this person?
He's
He
the
is,
head of. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, y'all about to say he's the
They
head.
didn't say his name in the beginning. They didn't say his name in the beginning. At the bottom, I
Let
couldn't
me
see it though.
let me see if I can. Let me see. I'm gonna run it back. I'm gonna run it back from the beginning.
Today, we commemorate the
Oh, his
victims of
name
a
right there.
That is his name.
Antonio
Secretary General of the United
Guterres.
staggering
Nations.
crime.
Yes. He what?
Secretary General of the United Nations.
Okay. All right. Yeah. See, you got to get the context. I don't know
There
who this
you
guy
go.
is. I
There
don't
you,
know who this boy is.
there you go. You got it. Antonio Gutierrez.
No,
Secretary Antonio Gutierrez, Secretary
his English.
General.
I don't know. His English is a little bit too
An-
good. That's
An-
why I don't believe it.
Antonio Gutierrez, Secretary General of the United Nations. I'm gonna let it rock.
His English too good.
Let it rock. I'm gonna let it rock.
Millions of people stolen from their families and communities in Africa, trafficked across the Atlantic, and if they survived the journey, enslaved in the Americas. Millions more were born into bondage, brutally exploited for their labor, and denied their basic humanity. We honor their quiet resilience and courageous acts of open resistance. This global order prevailed for over 400 years and haunts our world even now. In systems and institutions shaped and enriched by chattel slavery, in social and economic inequalities rooted in past injustices, and in biases that permeate our culture and impact us all. On this International Day of Remembrance of the victims of slavery and the transatlantic slave trade, we are called to confront these legacies. By rejecting the false narrative of racial difference and the ugly lie of white supremacy, by dismantling racism online, in the media, in schools, at work, in politics, and within ourselves, and by working for truth, justice, and repair. I welcome the initial steps by some governments to address the consequences of slavery, but far bolder actions by many more member states are needed. including commitments to respect African countries' ownership of their own resources, and steps to ensure their equal participation and influence in the global financial architecture and the UN Security Council. Together, let us commit to a world where all people live and thrive in dignity.
All right. Uh,
I don't
UNT.
know. I told you his English too good, man. I don't believe
Hey, listen. That's why we tell everybody to fact check. You know what I'm saying? Do your homework.
His English
Do,
too good,
do
man.
your
What do you
homework.
mean his
That's what,
English is
I
too
just said
good?
everything
Don't
he
you know
said with
these people
a
go to
strong accent.
school and learn different language? What do you mean his English is too good?
No, no,
These people in these
ma'am,
positions.
ma'am. It's a joke. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not.
but yeah. But no. But people might not believe it. You know what I'm saying? People might think it's AI.
I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm just.
Yeah,
I
no,
like
no,
to.
yeah. Let me address that.
I like to play guy's advocate.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I'm saying?
let me address that. People might not believe it. People might
That's what I'm
think it's
saying.
AI. Hold, let me address that. People might not believe it. People might think it's AI or whatever the case may be. So that's why we implore people: do your due diligence, do your homework, fact check it, look at other resources and outlets as far as the news and media is concerned. You know what I'm saying? That's prudent anyway, no matter what information you're getting and no matter who it's coming from. So when we get into aspects of critical and analytical thinking, these are uh, uh, um, the steps that it takes anyway. So all information that you're receiving, right? This is the vetting process that you should be putting it through. All right. So this don't just go for this broadcast or for this information that's being presented right now. This goes for information that you're receiving across the board from everyone that you're receiving it from. All right. So that's what it is. That's what it is, family. So yeah, do your due diligence, do your own research. With that being said, let me come back to you all for final thoughts and closing remarks. Again, this was a special report being brought by New Day Resurrection Liberation from our sister Empress Chi, also AKA affectionately known AKA Dr. Filet Chionesu, founding architect of the Million Woman March Universal Movements. All right. With that being said, family, once again, I'll bring it to you all for final thoughts and closing remarks. We do have a program scheduled for tomorrow, all right, at 6:30 here in Philadelphia, PA, at the what is it, 31 North 60th Street. All right, I
Mhm.
believe that's the Universal Church of God.
Right.
Okay, and again, that's 6:30, family, and about till about 8 p.m. All right. And for more information, you can email nationalmwm at AOL.com. Again, that's nationalmwm at AOL.com. Also, you can email me at powerman2282 at gmail.com. Again, that's powerman2282 at gmail.com. You can also text 267-636-3802. Again, that number is 267-636-3802. We'll be getting into some more in-depth conversation on some of these strategies and techniques as it pertains to pre plebiscite sessions, some of the ancestral work as it pertains to reparations, and some of the declarations, such as what has been brought forth by our ancestor uh, El Haj Malik El Shabazz, also known as Malcolm X, all right, as well as Queen Mother Moore, William Patterson, these, our great illustrious ancestors, Saint Queen Mother Moore, ancestor William Patterson, ancestor Paul Robeson, and many, many more who have delved into this phenomenal works. And now we are seeing more breaking points. We're seeing more fuel and ammunition to the fire that flames victory. Okay, so it is up to us. It will behoove us all to get more involved. If you're not involved at all, to get involved, and so we can make sure that we get justice and we get, as Saint Queen Mother Moore would say, get your
Right.
reparations,
That's
get
right.
your reparations, chillin'. They owe you.
That's right. That's what
All
she would
right,
say. That's what she did say.
all right. No doubt. With that being said, let me come to you all for final thoughts and closing remarks before we close out this special report and the program for this evening. Bubba Left, you got anything? Final thoughts, closing remarks?
Um, yeah, peace, peace. So I like this discussion. I'll definitely try to check y'all tomorrow. And we got work to do, so I'm with it.
All right, all right. Well,
Appreciate y'all.
no, yeah, no, sir. I appreciate you as well. And I thank you for joining us for this special report. All right. And coming over, Sister Empress, final thoughts, closing remarks.
So, just a kind of sidebar about the International Day of Remembrance of the Victims of Slavery and the Transatlantic Slave Trade. It was actually started in 2007. And again, this came about, by way of the United Nations. It was really the resolution went in 2007 and it went into actual effect in 2008. So, they've been doing stuff every year in recognition of this. One of the things that we want to do this year, given the fact that this groundbreaking thing has happened and we've been talking about it, we're looking to maybe take a group to the UN to visit the Ark of Return. So I'm looking maybe in August, perhaps, that we're able to do that so that our people again can become a little more familiar. See, other countries are definitely a little more advanced when it comes to certain types of information, and they have it here. But unfortunately, the black folks that kind of have information keeps it to themselves. And so, again, our position is to make sure that we make things as accessible as possible to the masses of our people, because it should not have taken 60 years for, certain things to have happened. I mean, it all takes a while. We know that. But again, given the fact that Brother Malcolm went to the United Nations and had a conversation about our human rights in 1965, that's a long time. I mean, there's some things that really should have, could have happened by now. And I'm saying again that the gatekeepers and the blockers have to be held accountable and responsible for
Okay,
that.
so
So that's another conversation we're going to have for tomorrow.
that's so good.
And with that said, put together our We Trust Genocide Task Force and also our committee that will be focusing on the International Decade for People of African Descent. Again, most of our people don't know anything about that. So tomorrow we'll be introducing it to them. And for those who want to get involved, they'll be able to do so. But again, it has to be a commitment to really want to learn and understand how some of this stuff actually operates. Because nobody has time anymore just to talk. It has to be conversation with action. With that, I yield.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, so we're going to close out this session for this evening. Thank you once again for joining us. I want to give thanks, of course, first and foremost to the Most High Creator Creatress. All right, give thanks to the ancestors and the elders, those who have shed blood, sweat, and tears and paved the way to allow us to be here today. Thank you all. Thank you for your time, energy, and effort, dedication, determination, and discipline. With that, I'm going to close out by saying peace, love, prosperity, and protection. All right, peace, peace. Until next time, see y'all Saturday, and I'll see y'all on
Peace.
Thursday. All right, peace, peace.